decision was I was a consultant, 22-ish years old. I had a paid for, condo that I bought overlooking the city. And I remember thinking like, I really hope I don't wake up tomorrow. And I don't mean that to be melodramatic. I just for a period of time, I just always just like hoped every night. I was like, I just really hope I don't wake up tomorrow. Like, I just don't want to do this. And what was difficult about that was that at that time was when my father was most proud of me. Because I was doing everything that was according to plan. He could talk about like his son who graduated in 3 years from Vanderbilt, had the good job, like everything we're following the plan. And it was upon realizing that my ultimate expression of living out his dream was me feeling like I didn't want to be alive. And so and it took me time to get to that point to even articulate that, because obviously you never want to kind of like admit failure of like, I have really messed something up here. But I was living my life to win someone else's game. And when I realized that one of our dreams had to die, either his or mine. And when I realized that his dream must die in order for mine to live was a statement that I kind of crystallized when I was at that point in my life. Like I had to keep repeating that, like his dream has to die in order for mine to live. And so to put this in perspective of like how afraid of my father's judgment I left the state and drove across the country halfway through before calling him to tell him that I was gone. And so I bring this up because I'm not trying to be dramatic here, but I'm saying that if you feel a lot of pressure, I get it. Like I tried to leave the job that I was at to pursue just literally anything that wasn't that. Just I wanted to start a business at some point. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I just knew that what I was doing was not the path I wanted to be on. And everybody around me wanted me to be on that path. And so I went to go be like, hey, I'm thinking about doing something else. And, it would always be that, don't, later, like everything's good, later. And I remember when I called my dad and I told him that. He said, understand, why don't you come home? Like, come home. Well, I didn't tell him that I was gone yet. Like I said, hey, I want to go pursue this fitness thing. He said, cool, come over for lunch. We'll talk about it. And I was like, I'm already gone. And then obviously his tone changed a lot. And our relationship struggled for, years after that. And I also bring that up because sometimes there's this illusion that like, you get on the Oscar stage or whatever it is, and you're like, hey, I just want to thank, my mom, my dad, my friends for always supporting me. And I can't say that. And I wish I could. And you might not be able to say that either. And I also don't think that's a reason not to do it.